What is going on, everybody? I am back again with another haircut tutorial. This is kind of one of those that you should just kind of watch along as the video plays. I'm going to be breaking down a few things and sharing a few details because it's kind of a feel haircut versus a haircut that I can actually break down step by step because of how I'm going to go about this. Anyway, my wife, the oh so beautiful Jada, is in the building. She just did a braided base for my guy and a two-stranded twist style. This is a very popular look nowadays. Currently, mostly a lot of the young folks, I mean, even adults are wearing it, but mostly the young folks are appreciating it a whole lot. It's easy to manage and maintain. But anyway, this video is mainly going to focus around my guy in the chair. He was somebody that I used in one of my videos a while ago when I was showcasing the power clip and the charging pad from Tune 45 on my hitter. So he had a lot of shrinkage going on last time around. His hair didn't even look as if it was going to be able to do what it's doing now with the two-strand. And as you can see, my daughter, my twin, is in the building. That's Mpundu. And she's just kind of trying to see what's going on, being nosy as usual. I always got the camera running, so she wanted to know what I was recording, and I was telling her what was going on. But anyway, look, we got my guy back in the building with a two-stranded twist style with the braided base, of course, and this has been needed for him. He, like many teenage kids his age, is around 14, 15 years old, have no idea what they truly, honestly want to do with their hair. And I don't know what happened, but nowadays a lot of the kids are spoiled rotten with what they can do with their hair. And I don't mind it. It's just kind of interesting seeing the shift, because when I was coming up, we had one way and that was it. So the versatility and the alternatives that you can do nowadays, the style that you can wear, it's amazing. It's really mind-blowing to me what some of the parents allow their kids to do and what they spend their money on. But anyway, what's hot is what is hot. If you are young in 2024, rocking a wild style, that's dangerous business. But if you're getting play, look, it is what it is, you know? I mean, I just know some looks are interesting, but this is a fresh look. This is actually one of my favorite looks to do. It's very neat how you can have a braided natural style going with a taper at the lower bottom half of the haircut. So it's just kind of like an undercut to some people, as they call it. And all I'm going to do for now is pretty much just prep it. But as I was saying, this look right here is originally how he would wear with the afro. As you can see in the pop-up, very matted, super shrinkage. But the hair can, of course, still do this. It was either this or Locs, but we ended up convincing him to do this, of course, me and Mom. These two looks are 2-3 weeks apart. So it's not like he grew a whole lot of hair. It's just, that's what this texture will do. It has such a tight curl that if the water hits it and you just let it do its thing, it will shrink. If you put heat to it, you apply heat, whether it's a blow dryer after you shampoo and condition, or hot comb, whatsoever, that stuff is coming out. But I will be using the cyborg clipper and going over it with a number 1 guard, making sure that I'm going with the grain first, just smoothing everything out. I'm going to go all around now that I have established that 1 guard. I will eventually just assure and make sure that everything is even all around. And people will have imperfections, and how you go about cutting their hair and the way that it flows, you got to make sure, you have to make sure you follow through with how it flows. So now that it's all even, I'm going to start working on the back taper, going ahead and setting in my bald guideline. I'm setting the ball guideline, and I'll go in with no guard, back in with the cyborg clipper. Clipper lever all the way open, establish that second guideline. And I'm going to close halfway, start erasing that line just a little bit, close all the way, and just work it in. You can make sure that you are keeping everything even by just following the same routine. I just threw on a half guard or zero guard. This is the tight guard. So I went from all the way open, and you can choose to close halfway, then close all the way, or you can choose to start closing little by little as you go. And don't forget to improvise. As you can see, his hair texture is not set up to just react how you please when it comes down to how you cut it. So you have to make sure that you are improvising. So if you're gonna go against the grain, go with the grain, do as you must. And in this case, I'm doing exactly what I should, because you don't want to set yourself up for fail. If you gotta lose the guard, like how I'm doing now, going back down with the grain, going with the flow of it. Don't go against it when you're doing detail work like what I am going through right now, because some of this will set you up for fail, and you will not be able to set the lineup in properly, so that way you can achieve a proper symmetrical line that's nice and dark. Like for me, I love lineup manipulation. I appreciate being able to take your time, blend everything just right, set the hair up properly so that you can make sure the line that you put in there looks great and pop as if it's been enhanced. Now in this case, I'm not going to be able to really give you that super 3D look. I will get close to it, but I have to go pretty low on his hair because certain lengths just don't work out. And this goes back to what I was saying earlier about kids and the haircuts that they pick. Before I get into that, as you can see, I just established the zero guideline. Then I'm going to go ahead and go in with the cyborg clipper lever all the way open, close halfway, and close all the way and blend that out. But this is going to be the same routine, the same steps that I would take all the way through. Then when I put on the guard, which will be a number one, of course, I'm going to go according to what I see. I'm using the clipper lever from halfway, then I'll slowly close, then get to the point where I close all the way. And this is one of those feel haircuts, like I said. But like I was about to say about kids and the haircuts that they pick, they do need supervision as an adult to supervise what they're going to get and help them understand maintaining certain looks are going to take a little bit of effort. So in this case, I'm going low because if I was to keep the hair darker, it would look a lot better. It'll be visually more pleasing. Not that it won't be clean with what I'm about to do for him. Most people actually prefer this low look. Personally, I prefer looks that are more darker, detailed, and have very particular pops in the line area because of the line manipulation that I do when I leave a particular overhang. Spraying stuff like alcohol or my favorite water helps really get these looks to look amazing. But kids don't know what they want, and when parents are not around and they just send their kids to the shop, to the suite, wherever they go, to show you a photo from the internet and hope that you kind of get it how they want. And these are people that only send their kids to the shop to get a haircut. We're talking once a month, which is not bad, but some people are horrible to the point where they get their kids to come in twice, maybe we're talking about in 90 days, getting 2 haircuts isn't a good thing. So 3 months, 2 haircuts, that's too long. Then they complain about how the hair looks, how it's not cooperating. Well, guess what? The kids should be brushing. Like in this case, this type of undercut or taper should be brushed and maintained regardless to not having a haircut. But most kids just walk around with this twisted, curly, coiled hair texture. It doesn't matter if they have tight curl patterns or tight curl texture like his. Like texturized hair like his would never, ever make it well past a week or 2 without a haircut. It's going to be looking really crazy. The same with anybody that has straight hair or curly or whatever pattern. You will need some maintaining. So many people only show up annually instead of showing up bi-weekly. You got to maintain the haircut. It's a lot of work on the barber's behalf to be relearning the hair, having to put the same work that was already established back in months or weeks later, and the clients expect it to look a certain way. The kids, first of all, they question you a lot about how their hair looks, knowing nothing or understanding a thing, kind of like the parents who just send their kids in, and visually the parents do not like any of the styles nowadays. And I'm speaking from experience because parents express what they are paying for their kids to get, and they always suggest many things, but the kids know what they want. They know what's hot. They are going with what the hottest celebrity, musician, actor, athlete is wearing. They're not just thinking for themselves. It's very few kids that actually think for themselves and do what they want. Most things to begin with are only done when seen. That's the truth. There's nothing new under the sun. So these kids nowadays, I really feel for them because they only see, like in my day, I was growing up and all I saw was a bunch of what everybody was wearing, whether it's clothes, sneakers, or hairstyles. So I did what I saw. Then eventually you had to kind of stray away from doing what you saw and do your own thing that works for you based off of what information you have soaked in from what you've seen. It's a mess. But the styles nowadays, I really love doing them, but it's almost a waste of money because the looks that these parents allow these kids to get are never maintained to look their best. So this hairstyle, this haircut look in general right here should be maintained. We're talking bi-weekly. You should be in the shop to get a lineup and taper. And depending on how you take care of your locks or braids or two-stranded twists is going to determine how your hair looks. You should wear a style like this for maybe 3 to 4 weeks tops and let the hair breathe. But a lot of people don't know these things. They don't know what it takes to let the hair relax, the scalp especially. It's all about the scalp. It's kind of like getting a haircut every 2 days is not healthy, but there's people that will do that. And there's nothing wrong with that, because if you have a good barber that actually will take care of their tools and take care of you the way they should with their tools, as in doing touch-up haircuts is a completely different way of going about hair cutting when you say a bi-weekly client that comes in. If you're getting a haircut twice a week, you have to go about it completely different. There's certain things you have to skip. Like, you don't get the razor all the time. You may not get skin blends all the time. You got to let that skin breathe just for a little bit. If you're going to be keeping your hair from growing at all, you have to stay on it and you have to take certain measures. It's like shaving. You're going to need the foam. You're going to need gels. You're going to need hot towels or warm water. You got to avoid warm water in some cases. But before I get into all of that warm water business, just remember, this is the look we're going for with this line. And I'm going to pretty much give them the same deal. But anyway, about the warm water. Avoiding warm water, especially the hot water after a haircut, is something that has people's skin get irritated and they scrub, opening up their pores, not knowing that they're causing more damage than cleaning themselves free of hairs and debris. Like, it's really not that great to always get your hair cut and shampoo right after. Like, you might as well do that at the shop if you are able to. If your barber or stylist offers that service, please have them do it, because all that scrubbing that most people do with their wash rags and cloths or whatever, their loofahs, whatever, irritates their skin, and they don't know that they're kind of doing a over exfoliation of the skin that causes irritation. They're opening up these kind of minor scrapes from the blades that need cold water to actually go over the top of them. But this is something that is hard and very difficult to explain to clients, to parents, kids especially. Kids always break out because they have dirty fingernails, all these bacteria that are supposed to be good bacteria, some people say. That thing that they do is scratch after their haircut. I don't know why people scratch after their haircut. Just let it be. It's going to itch a little bit. You have hair on you. The blades may have been a little too close, so they touched you in a way where when the alcohol is applied on you for a reason to close those pores back up, you need to allow it. There's some people that always say, no, I don't do alcohol after my haircut. And there's some people that have more sensitive skin than the next. So you got to use different astringents. You know, sea breeze is good. You know, aftershaves are good. But some people don't want the alcohol or any kind of astringent at all because they think of it to be more harm than not. They don't understand that scratching during their haircut is one of my biggest pet peeves. For example, like people scratch all the time during their haircut. I am inflicting a little bit of damage to your skin with these sharp tools. I'm opening up your pores. They're exposed. Stop scratching. But people are going to be people and they're going to scratch, especially kids. I've had multiple parents be upset about their kids breaking out and think my tools or items are dirty, which never makes any sense because it's really the kids scratching. Dirty fingernails. Kids touch everything, you know. But that's a whole nother story. As you can see, we're getting somewhere here with this taper. It's looking very fresh. I know this video is probably something some of you were hoping I could have shared more detail to, but it's not one of those that I can really explain. This is kind of just watch and see what I'm doing, because breaking down everything that I did is very detailed and particular. I feel like I would have to say that for a whole nother video, but I will save the ranting on people and cleanliness and all that stuff with kids and how they should never have a parent not present during their haircut unless you just have established what they are getting to the point where that relationship is built and secure enough with the barber and parent, or the barber and the client as in the child. If you know what they like, do what they need to get and get them out. But it's just so difficult nowadays because people get really emotional over the money that they spend on these services and it just goes left fast. So I like to have great relationships with my kid clients as well as their parents and every adult as well. Just, you have to communicate with your barbers. You have to communicate with your stylists. There's a lot of people that leave the shop unhappy, thinking they're going to hurt our feelings. PSA to all clients, speak up. As for those barbers that are sensitive, you're gonna have a hard and tough business ahead of you. There's no ounce of sensitivity in me. Yeah, we're artists, sure, we're sensitive about what we do, but I would rather somebody tell me what it is. Don't tell nobody else what I did instead of you telling me to my face. Don't go tell the next barber, don't go tell the next stylist. I want you to tell me. Simple as that. Communication is simple, but a lot of people are not confrontational. Me? Well, let's just say I'm ready for all the smoke, but I highly recommend to keep the exchange verbal. A lot of people would rather yell over a phone and text or voice call versus in person. They are nothing like what they are over the phone. How I am talking and speaking over this video right now with this voiceover is me. This is not some persona. This is not false advertisement. This is just me letting you know what it is and talking how I usually talk. I can go for 72 hours if I had to talk, but that's a whole nother story. You know, it's just most people, especially if last year taught me anything, 2023 taught me that people have mastered how to be able to present a professional aesthetic, whether it's their business or what they claim to do. And it's never that in reality. There's a lot of flaws. There's a lot of imperfections, which is normal because we're all human at the end of the day. But people have removed that human side of the human experience and how you go about everyday living, and just pretty much brought it down to some nonsense that does not make any sense. But, you know, all I'm saying is be aware of this for any beginners that are watching this, especially veterans as well. Some of us have been doing this for a long time, sure, but there's still room for improvement. You can learn something from just experience with your clients. There's times where I've kicked out a lot of clients. I've removed clients from my list because they don't know how to communicate or cooperate. But there's a lot of training your clients that is involved with being a barber. If you're able to train them, they will understand better. Then there's some people that are just untrained. You cannot train them at all. They don't listen for nothing. You can tell them not to do something, they will still do it. You can tell them not to use Head and Shoulders, some of the worst stuff in the market. But it works for some people. It doesn't work for everybody. But I don't recommend that you wear conditioner, for example. A lot of people like to style their hair with conditioner. Never made any sense. I know the use for conditioner works for some styles, but it's not a wearing style. That's not a styling product. But what do I know, right? Do what you do. You know, kids walk in with a bunch of conditioner in their hair. Adults walk in with a bunch of conditioner in their hair and expect me to service them with conditioner in their hair. Then when I ask them, are they able to pay, or would they like a shampoo, extra service, you know, would you like an add-on? They say no. We have all the time in the world. We can shampoo your hair real quick. Please show up to the shop with your hair shampooed if you're not willing to pay. Do not have your barber going into overdrive up top mentally, losing it because you're not able to cooperate. Nobody wants to see flakes jumping out of your hair. And you're telling me you have dandruff when you just have a bunch of conditioner sitting on your scalp, because it say leave-in conditioner does not mean you leave it in all day. I'm just saying. Anyway, this conversation will be to be continued. I will talk about more of this in my haircuts are subscriptions video coming up really soon, so stay tuned for that. If you are paying attention to Mom, she is out because she can't handle it. As soon as I called my man's ODB, because his hair was sticking up like, you know, old dirty bastard. And yeah, if you know, you know. If you don't know who ODB is, hit the Google up or something like that. But I was trying to help it lay down or get it back down after I removed the clips, and it just was not working out. So a little bit of mousse, rag it up, will be fine. He'll fix him right up. But anyway, stay tuned, y'all. Hit that subscribe button. I will catch y'all on the next one.